Hello, my name is Kel Bailey and welcome back to another video. Hey, today we're going to be checking out the Roland Juno X, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this keyboard after owning it for about 3 weeks now. So you're going to want to make sure you stick around until the end, because what you hear at the end may or may not surprise you. So let's get into it. So here we have the Roland Juno X. This is an amazing looking interface. The lights, you got knobs. It just looks really, really good. I kind of customized the side panels of the keyboard already. I'll leave a link below where I got these from if you are interested in this. But I paid maybe about $150 for the side panels. And again, I got them off of eBay. So let's get into it. First, let's just go through some of the sounds, and I'll kind of explain to you how this keyboard works and kind of how to get around and navigate through this keyboard. All right, so that's a few sounds that we'll go through for right now. But some of the things that I want to point out and highlight about this synth is there's over 4,000 presets from Roland products across their whole entire line. So there is a lot of sounds in this keyboard to really unpack, and there's a lot that you can do with this keyboard alone. I've owned the Roland Integra 7. I don't have it anymore, but going through some of the sounds, I noticed that some of those sounds from the Roland Integra 7 is actually on this keyboard. So I'm very excited about that. The Roland Integra is definitely a special rack unit, and to know that I'm getting some of those sounds on this keyboard is great, you know. Another thing to point out, there is model expansions on this keyboard. So kind of what I went through just now, and we'll explain this a little bit more. So there's Juno 106 sounds on here. There's Juno 60 sounds on here. You even get access to some of the XV 5080 sounds. There's RD pianos on here. There's vocoder sounds on here. And then you got like just some regular presets. And then you get access to like a user bank as well. Here is another cool feature that may be a good thing, may not be a good thing, may not matter to you. But it's kind of cool to know that you have it as an option. There's also an onboard stereo speaker on this keyboard. So if we go to menu, we can actually turn it on. It's somewhere in the system settings. But if I unplug the back cables that's going into the outputs on this keyboard, there is speakers on here. So essentially, as long as I got power, I don't need extra speakers. I can kind of come through the synth speakers that's already on the keyboard. Now, do they sound great? They sound like what you expect them to sound like. It's sound, you know, it doesn't sound crackly. It doesn't sound great, doesn't sound terrible. It's okay. It's what you expect out of onboard speakers, you know. Another thing to mention is this keyboard does have aftertouch on it as well. Another thing to point out is you get access to 3 different Juno choruses. And then another thing to point out is I haven't downloaded this yet. I need to check this out, but apparently there is a free Juno X software that you can go online and kind of shape some of your sounds on there. So explaining a little bit how this keyboard works, let's get into it. So you have scenes on this keyboard, right? So the scenes is basically, I kind of look at the scenes like buckets. So bucket 1 will be the Juno X, right? So Juno X bucket is going to be all the sounds from the Juno X in bucket 1. So bucket 1 goes from 1 to 16. So from 1 to 16, in scene 1 is all Juno X sounds. From scene 2 is going to be the Juno 106. So bucket number 2 is Juno 106, and from scene 1 to scene 16 is going to be all Juno 106 sounds, right? And so on and so on. Bucket 3, just to kind of over explain it and so you understand it even more, bucket 3 is going to be the Juno 60. From 1 to 16, you are going to get all Juno 60 sounds. Now, how you switch the scenes is by this knob right here. And how you kind of go through the bucket is by using this knob right here. I can also press these buttons as well to navigate through this bucket. Hey, if you're still enjoying this video, I want you to hit that like button for me. And I want to let you guys in on something. So I am a part of Sweetwater affiliate program. So basically what that means is if you click my link below and you're looking for some new gear to buy, just by using my link and adding something to your cart and actually checking out and buying it, I get a small percentage of what you buy. So that is a way that you can kind of support me and support my channel further. So the next time you consider buying some new musical gear, consider using my link. All right, let's get back to the video. The next thing we will go over is parts. So some of these sounds are made up of parts. So what does that mean? If we look closely to the screen, you probably can't see it. You get a total of 5 parts on here. So from part 1 to 4 is just going to be straight sounds. And then on part 5, it's going to be drums. So let's pull that up. Let's go through the parts. So on part 1, let's check it out. So this is what's on part 1 right here on this sound. It's called Shredder Split. Not much going on, right? Then when we add in part 2, part 2 is a split on this particular sound. Then let's see what's on part 3. That's on part 3 right there. On part 4, we have this interesting pluck sound. So this is when you can kind of get creative with sound design. So as an example, if I want to go through and start building up a sound that I created, I'm going to be using the parts to do that. We'll kind of go over that a little bit later. And then on part 5, we got drums. So let's talk about the array of knobs that you get. I feel like this is the perfect board if you want to get into sound design and understand how sound design, filters, envelope, oscillators, all of that good stuff works, because you have everything laid out here for you. I just pulled up scene 6, and then the sound that we have selected is number 2. It's an 80 synth brass. So on the fly, let's see if we can kind of tweak this a little bit and make it sound maybe better. Matter of fact, let's use a different sound because I don't have access to all of the different presets on this sound. Yeah, let's use a sound like this. So let's use the Juno X Synth 1. So let's tweak this sound just a little bit. Let's mess around with some filters. Let's check it out. So I'm really manipulating this sound. So you have a lot of knobs, a lot of things to kind of manipulate and tweak these sounds. All of your user patches start on scene number 8. From scene 8 to scene 16, you have all innate scenes that you can kind of create parts and sculpt sounds. So here is a pad sound that I created. This is like the first pad that I created when I got this synth. So just like a worship pad, then we made another pad. Then we made some synth stuff on here as well. So we did that with basically 2 parts. So here are my official thoughts and my final conclusion on the Roland Juno X. I'll do some tutorials down the line to kind of show some of you guys how to work this keyboard and navigate it, because there's not a lot of tutorials on YouTube about the Juno X. But my thoughts are, I think this is the perfect synthesizer one if you want to get into sound design. I think having the ability to have all of the knobs right here in front of your face, being able to touch it, is a plus, and you can kind of really learn what each knob does. I also think this is a great synthesizer to have in the studio as well. So if you're like me, you're a producer and you like to sculpt sounds, you already know how to do sound design, or you just want to have some different type of classic Juno sounds in the studio, I think this is a great synthesizer to get for that. Though I know there's some arguments online about this keyboard, like, oh, it's not pure analog and it's not really an analog keyboard. We know that it is digital. It's a Juno X. They're not really making a lot of analog gear anymore. But I think this is just a great synth to have, and I would definitely recommend it. Category number 3, if you're a church musician, you play in church, and you want to add a little razzle dazzle to your setup, I think this is something that you should consider maybe getting. It's something that I would consider getting if I had the option to have a second keyboard on top of the main keyboard. So again, the Roland Juno X is a very powerful keyboard. There's a lot that you can do on here. There's a lot of opportunity for user presets that you can create as well. And sonically, it just sounds great as well. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Comment down below if you have any questions, but that's all we have for today. We are out.